Hey there, YouTube. Okay, this is a little follow-up to the video I did on the big steel tent and the trip to New Hampshire and back. You may have noticed that this is coming a little late, and it's not in the format in which I had originally intended. There are reasons for that. I had intended to do kind of a series of nightly stops, midday stops, kind of letting you know what was going on. We became overcome by events. More specifically, we became overcome by the weather. I can tell you right now that the next time I drive to New Hampshire, when I make my planning, it will not include the months between November and April. I thought that March, my memory of my childhood was that March was generally mild. Okay, that once we got February out of the way, March was going to be okay. 'Twas not the case. And just to let you know, I spent one night in a KOA campground where the only campsite that was available was right on the top of a ridge overlooking a valley, and 40-mile-an-hour winds was coming down that valley right straight towards me. This, by the way, has got me thinking about buying a van to replace the big steel tent. I'm still thinking on that. The next night was in West Virginia. That was a pleasant experience. I spent the night on the floor in J. Hercules Possum Pouch Softwoods. I spent the night on the floor in his shop. That was good. It was nice and warm and cozy. Had a nice, good conversation with Jay. That was a very enjoyable thing. But the next morning, snow was falling. Okay, wasn't falling much, but this boy don't have the same tires that the locals do. Okay. And I haven't driven in snow in about 45 years, okay, since I left Dallas. So I opted to stay in a flea bag hotel. Now, you may remember from one of my previous videos that I stayed in a flea bag hotel, and I didn't want to say the name because I feared I was going to summon a demon and that it was the worst flea bag hotel I'd ever stayed in. It's no longer the worst, the most flea-baggiest hotel I've ever stayed in. But if that hotel in West Virginia burns down, it goes back to that position. That West Virginia thing, the only thing that hotel gave me was the knowledge that I can have internet anytime I want to as long as I've got my Starlink. When I got inside the room, there was no microwave and no internet, no Wi-Fi. But because I'm in the big steel tent, I went out and I got my little electric cookers, and I got the Starlink down off the roof, put it on a camera tripod, stuck it out the window because I was in the first floor, and pointed it north, and I got my own internet. That shows me that what I did good, that the big steel tent, the concept of the big steel tent of being able to cook and connect to the internet is sound concept. And then I'm glad I spent the day in West Virginia, even though it was in that flea bag hotel, because the next morning when I woke up, still a little bit of snow flurries, but not much to worry about. But I could tell on the road up through New York, by the time I got 60 miles from my destination in New York, you could tell that they had put salt on the roads the night before. And that would have been about the same time I was trying to get there from West Virginia. So I'm glad I spent the day in the flea bag hotel, as flea baggy as it may be. Spent a couple days with my mother, and then headed south, and by that time the weather had cleared up. got to my daughter's house in South Carolina after one night on the road, and then spent another night on the road, headed back to Texas. The big steel tent did perform admirably. Okay, I'm going to make a couple of tweaks. I got to see the sleeping bag I was using was my 1928 LL Bean sleeping bag, and I won't be using it anymore because I didn't remember that it was a left-hand open bag, and it's got a 4-inch mattress on the bottom of it. Okay, I'll link to that video at the end of this one. But when I put it in the big steel tent, required it to be a right-hand open bag, so I slept most of the time with a 4-inch mattress on top of me. It was very warm, but it was a little uncomfortable, and I didn't have a whole lot of padding underneath me. So I'm looking at a different mattress system in the big steel tent. So other than that, like I said, there's not a whole lot of video involved, but I did have a good time. The big steel tent performed admirably. Thank you for paying attention to this particular little thing of mine that I'm doing. Well, it'll be a while before the next big steel tent video comes out, so we'll see you down the trail.